Okay, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, but let's get right to it. So my wife and I went on Valentine's Day to go to a matinee of Parasite because they re-released it to the local theater. And it won Best Picture and a slew of other Oscar nominations, Oscars it took home. And I just didn't see it when it first came out. And I have to say, I did a reaction video when I was going in, and then I was going to do a reaction video coming out, but I wanted to apologize. That didn't get done because my wife and I, for two reasons. When we first came out of the theater, we were discussing the movie so much. And then when we got outside the theater, the sun had moved position, so the front of the theater was completely blown out. And when I tried to do a video, it was washed out and terrible. So I apologize for not posting that. If you were looking forward to that first reaction, I apologize it didn't come out. But here I am with the actual, my thoughts and my review of the movie. First of all, absolutely fantastic. One of the better films that I've seen in a long time. I really enjoyed 1917 last year. I hate that I didn't see this until after it won Best Picture. It deserved Best Picture. The director was absolutely fantastic. Bong Joon-ho, I believe, Bong Joon-ho. I know I'm going to have a tough time with some of these names. Please forgive me, especially my South Korean audience. So Choi Woo-shik, I believe, who was one of the lead actors. To my BTS Army family out there, I heard that V is friends with him and one of the other actors that was in the film. So that's kind of cool that there's a tie-in right there to BTS. You know, the movie itself, first of all, it went through all these transitions where it started off as like this family, almost comedy con artist. You were, every time something was happening, you were waiting to see what was going to happen next or what staff member was going to be fired next, and how they were all taking up the jobs and faking that they were the driver and the maid and the tutor and the art psychologist, therapist. I'll be honest with you, man, like that was one of the coolest parts about the film, was seeing the manipulation. And then I really liked Chow Yu-jong, who was the mother of the house. She was so innocent, and the way she believed these manipulating con artists blew my mind. Park So-dam, I believe that's how you say her name. I loved her in this, and she was beautiful. And you know, that was even referenced in the movie. I might get into spoilers. The movie's been out a long time, but I'll jump around a little bit. My favorite character in the entire movie was the father, Kang Ho-sung, I believe is how you say his name. He, to me, was what I call, in the film industry as an actor, he's a scene stealer. When he comes on screen, you just gravitate towards his performance and you want to watch him. I just absolutely loved his character. I was not a fan, not of the actress itself, but the character of the mother. I believe it was played by Lee Jong-eun. I think that's how you say it. And I'll tell you why. There was one scene where they were all drunk sitting at the table when the family had gone camping, and so the con artists were all there drinking, and she shoved the dog. Like, to me, like, as you lose your likability when you're mean to a dog, because the dog didn't do anything wrong, but she shoves this dog across the hardwood floor, and I was like, oh man, that was so wrong. And so the movie progresses where this con artist family kind of, they infiltrate, and they're the parasite, which is what I think is great. But in the end, it was the father that was the parasite, but I'll get to that. So the family kind of, one guy, college friend comes to another guy who's poor, living underneath a building in a basement. And he says, look, I need you teach very good, you teach very well. I want you to come and teach this girl. And not only is she a girl, when I graduate from university, I'm going to go back and I'm going to ask her to marry her. And I don't trust any of my friends to start scamming on her and sleeping with her, taking advantage of her, but you. So Ki Woo was the character name of the guy who gets recruited. And so when he gets there and he has to put on a front because he teaches good, but he doesn't have any background in education or a certificate from university. So he forges one, goes to this interview, talks to the mother of the house, and he just smooths her over so much. And they do a study session, and the mother is completely pleased that he can teach the daughter the skills that she needs, like learning English and stuff, in order to go to university. So he gets the job. He goes back home and he talks to his sister and he goes, yeah, there's a little boy there. He misbehaves. He's got some psychological problems. I told them that I knew an art therapist. And so she gets an interview and becomes this therapist because the boy draws these crazy pictures and had these nightmares. And you'll find out later, he thinks there's a ghost living in the kitchen, and you'll find out later how that happened. So long story short, all these people, and then one after another, the father replaces the driver of the house, the wealthy businessman who owns the home with the family. They have a personal driver. They have a personal housemaid that's been in the house for 6 years. And, so this family starts just like dirty, rotten scoundrels. They start coming in and leeching like a parasite off this family, and they're all making an income. And they've had to take out people in order to do that. When they take them out, though, they just do things to get them fired. The one maid who had been there for 6 years that they had gotten fired and was replaced by Ki Woo's mother, Mung Wang, they claimed she had tuberculosis, and there was this really great scene where the father was following behind. He had planted all the seeds about them about the maid having tuberculosis, and she's coughing because she has an allergy to peaches, and they throw the fuzz that's on peach, they fling it in the air and it lands on her, and she starts having these allergic reactions, and she gets fired. And then they've won. They've all got their positions. They've taken out the staff. They're all making money. The con is on. And then all of a sudden, one night in the rain, the old maid knocks on the door and she goes, please let me in. There's something I have to do. Please let me in. It's been too long. It's been too long. They let her in a panic, and she goes to a secret compartment in the house, which is like a bomb shelter from, I guess, back World War II and stuff like that. A lot of the old architects built these beautiful homes, and they all had bomb shelters. Well, there was a sliding case that had food and bottles of wine and stuff on it, and teas that were soaking, and she goes down this flight of stairs. So everybody, one at a time, they're following her down these flights of stairs into this house they never knew was there. And it winds up being a secret place where her husband is, and he's been starving to death because she got fired. She would steal food at night and bring it to him, and he was living in the bomb shelter because that's kind of where she lived as a house mother. She stayed in the house, and they all stayed in the house, but no, even the wealthy family, they had no idea this bomb shelter was there. So then this guy who is living in the basement is like a parasite as well, living off the house, basically, and the people that live there. And it got crazy because, they were fighting because they figured out it was a con, and it was all a family. And all this stuff went down, and it was insane. And then you find out that the kid who saw the ghost wasn't the kid. There was this beautiful cinematic shot where the old man that was down in the basement comes rising up a staircase, and all you see is from here up in the shadows. And it is the creepiest shit you will ever see in your life. I have to say, it creeped my wife out. It creeped me out. And we were like, oh my God, he was seeing the old guy. He thought that was the ghost. And then anyway, this whole movie is about society and social wealth classes where you've got people in poverty having to do everything they can to get jobs, to move up in the world, just to have a decent living and all this kind of stuff. And it goes crazy. And just like a lot of murder mystery type movies, of course, there's some murder. There's all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of blood at the end. And the twists and turns, it felt like I was watching 4 different movies. A comedy, a drama, a family picture, a horror film. I mean, it was amazing because Bong Joon-ho, the director, was able to incorporate every genre of filmmaking and incorporate it into one 2-hour movie, and he did it flawless. And that is why he won the Oscar. That is why the entire cast and crew deserved all the accolades during this award season, because they pulled off something that I have not seen before. And although I loved movies like 1917 and all the other films that had come out this past year, not seeing Parasite and seeing it now, unbelievable. Unbelievable film. Absolutely great acting. I enjoyed this movie across the board. So, it's got, a 90% likability on Google. I loved it. I give it a 99 out of 100. I don't think I could give anything a perfect score, but if there was a perfect score of 100, maybe I should. The hell with it. I give it 100 on a scale of 1 to 100. Absolutely one of the best films I've seen of the year. The twists and turns. Oh man, the Morse code and the light. Oh my God. The Cub Scouts. Knowing Morse code. I mean, there's so much that went on this movie. And then the tragedy at the end and oh my God, the shish kebab. The knife in the chest, the knife in the other chest, and the rock. Oh my God, that scene with the rock that was supposed to bring prosperity and wealth. And the guy in the basement slammed it on top of the kid's head and then picked it up and slammed it again. And that second slam where the head did like that. And they must have used CGI to pull that off because, I mean, that was crazy. Oh, my God. That movie was just amazing. So I hope you enjoyed Parasite as much as I enjoyed Parasite. If you haven't seen it, it's on iTunes. It's in Redbox right now. I think you can stream it on Amazon Prime. All the streaming, everyone's going crazy for Parasite, and so they should, and it deserved every award that it won during the award season. So, anyway, that's it. And, I'm out of breath. Wow, this is a long one. Sorry about that, guys. But if you made it to the end, I hope you enjoyed this. Subscribe to my channel, share this video on social media, and we'll see you on the next one.